This is my class 6 video journal regarding my solid core journey. I just came from class. I still even have my clothes on. I just wanted to hop on and give you some feedback. Today's video will be about loyalty and levels. In terms of loyalty, I misspoke when I gave you information regarding the spring levels from my class 5. You might recall, and I have it here pulled up on my phone, I mentioned that the spring levels, you're hearing these cues about white, gray, black, and blue. Those spring levels are for their rewards program. And this is directly from the website. It says, what is Solid Core Loyalty Program? When you've been putting in the hard work on Svetlana, now the Committed Loyalty Program rewards you for that dedication. The rewards program gives you an opportunity to earn points for everything from attending a class to hitting milestones. And it just goes on to tell you about those levels. And the levels for the spring levels are the same that's announced in the class. So I now want to talk about levels. Today's class was different for me in that it was a full body class, which I have been taking those because foundations are like this, but this was not a foundations class. I'm learning that the schedule changes. There's a shift sometimes. If the instructor who generally teaches foundations is unable to work that day, or they're unable to book someone who can teach a foundations class. You have to have been teaching for so long in order to teach a foundations. Today's class was not foundations. I took it at the same time on a Saturday. We did full body, like I mentioned, but it was a lot of work on glutes. We did triceps and arms as well. I'm mentioning levels here because the spring levels are announced in the class. For instance, when we got ready to do the squats, we were on the spring side of the Svetlana. The left foot, let's say the left foot was on the spring side and the right foot was on the board. Well, remember the Svetlana moves. You can actually have that board come from under you if you aren't being careful. The instructor called out the springs, but for some reason, I missed a step. I must have been trying to transition or something. She calls out and I put my spring on a gray. That's what I heard was gray. I switched the spring level, got on and got ready to do the squats. Well, the board was coming from under me. I knew that something was wrong because there's no way to do a squat. Just imagine doing a squat and the floor under you is shifting forward and back, forward and back. It's impossible. The board could actually flip from under you and you'd fall in between, which is on the floor, or you could easily injure yourself, maybe twist your ankle, twist your knee, even your back could be injured. So I came off the board and trying to adjust. Now, remember the foundations course, the lighting is higher. So you can actually see the springs. You can see the white, you can see the gray, you can see the blue, you can see the black. In these other non-foundational courses, the lights are totally off to my knowledge. You see the little blue strip around the floor, but honestly, it is almost impossible to see those colors. That's why you have to be intimately familiar with where these are. white, gray, blue, black. Well, as I'm moving, trying to do this, I switched. So I said, am I supposed to be on a white and a gray and a black? I didn't hear it, so I just missed it. I did the best I could, but I had to hold on to the handles, trying to do the position as she's cueing through. She's on the other end, and I don't know if she even sees me struggling, but I actually get off the machine, get back on, and that didn't work either. I tried to load up, I tried to level up, but I still couldn't see which spring to change to. So I just got over it. She transitioned, we went to another one. Then you have to do the other side. Your right leg is on the spring side. Your left leg is on the board that is moving back and forth if you haven't loaded enough springs, right? She then said the levels, and for whatever reason, I missed it again. So I found myself very disoriented trying to do these squats. I did do them, but I had to hold on to the handles. There are handlebars on each end because you actually use those for some positions. I was still able to squat. In fact, I feel it all in my leg area, my glute area, but I was unstable and it was almost to the point of danger. I was so glad that that was over. I went through the other poses. Another thing that happened when it came to these levels that I wrote down, sometimes when you're on the board, the platform side, there's a platform side and there's a spring side. If you watch my last video, I was calling them pulleys. I think they call them the, oh, I forget it now. It was in my mind, it's on the top of my tongue, tip of my tongue, but I may think about it for the next video. But when you're doing your handles, I'll call them the handles. When you're doing pulling the handles, it's really not handles. What do you call them? I forgot it. But last time, I think I just called it just pulling. It's like ropes that you're pulling, but they have some give to them. So I'm doing that, and then we transition. She then goes by and starts changing all of the participants' level, and we grab the handles this time and try and pull ourselves forward. I couldn't do it. It was so hard. And I yelled out, this is too hard. She changed it, and then I was able to pull. So I just wanted to mention this class was very much a challenge because I stumbled through, and a lot of it has to do with my unfamiliarity based on this lighting. I've been taking more foundational courses, but I have to be more cognizant about the placement of these springs. Well, after the class, she said, I'll be outside if anyone has questions. So I went outside and I wrote down in my notes here that I had asked her about this spring change for squats. I said I had it on gray and the board was coming from under me. And she said, that's why you have to listen. She said, I'm telling you, listening skills are so important. I said gray and blue. She said, without that blue, that's why that board was moving. You needed that board to be stiffer for you to still squat down and get the leverage that you need for that stability. And I shook my head. I said, yes, I understand now. So she went through what it should be when you're on that board trying to squat. And it's a similar experience that you have when you're doing these bungees. You wrap the bungee around your foot and you're trying to lift that leg up. It's very tough, but if that spring is on, say, white only, that board's going to come from under you. I mean, literally, it's going to be too hard to lift that bungee up because that board is shifting. It's going forward and back and forward and back. You need some stability. So I thought that I would just talk about these levels and how this is so serious when it comes to your safety. And today I felt very unstable. I still feel like I got to work out. I was happy that she explained the different levels for me. You could be told to put a gray and a blue for the reasons that I indicated here. You've got to have more stability on that board. Otherwise, it's going to literally come from under you. I also, in terms of levels, when I went into the bathroom, I had mentioned on a previous video how they have all this motivation. Some people have left messages for other clients that come in. And this time I noticed on the floor in the studio, it said, the only bad workout are the ones you don't do. So I'm just glad that I did the workout. I finished the workout. I'm going to be more cognizant of this whole spring level, because if a foundations course is unavailable, I still want to meet my goal for the week of doing solid core once a week. That's my commitment, once a week, to complement my other workouts at my regular gym. That's what I have today. I will come again. This sixth class was a bit almost anxiety building for me, because I realized I'm going to fall off this machine. I'm telling you, that's just how unstable it is. If you've ever watched those shows like Gladiator or these obstacle courses, the floor is moving back and forth and the person is jumping from one place to the next. That's almost an experience that you have when you missed a step of listening to get the right spring level up and ready for that transition. So for me, lesson learned, still looking forward. I'll come to you again to let you know my experience. All the best.